Good evening. Just in from work. I had my tea. Looking a bit tired, I think, but that's because I am. It's been a long day. I was just listening to Classic FM there. Can't play any of that for you. I'll get into all kinds of trouble with YouTube, I would think. I know we're supposed to be getting on with the station. There's the canopy, got to go over there. You may get onto that a little bit later. But somebody took an interest in what I've got in my drawers. I've got all these little cubbies, some screws in that one. These are the what are these? The front doors from one of the EMUs. There's a few. There's another one over there. What's in here? Couplings, that kind of stuff. These are the blanking plates down here from one of the sets. There's a couple more of them in there. So it's just somewhere to put stuff so it doesn't all get jumbled. I ordered some more of these. There's some more of those DCC chips. These are the chips that we've got to install. Oh, I can't help it. So we do have some to install, but that's where they are. That's just in there. But I did order some more of these little cubbies. They're kind of handy. There's a few more down here. And the other day I said, oh, look, there's a whole bunch of people. Because I've been having a sort out, things are in the wrong place. So let's grab them. And we'll talk about them for a minute. These are about the cheapest people you can find. I do like having lots of people around the layout. Where did I get them? I'll put this link in the description for you. They are, it says here, 50 pieces for $10. Usually you'll get 5 pieces for $10, won't you? £10. These are pretty rough. I'll get 1 or 2 out of the packet for you. Hold on. Well, the packet's open. The staples are sticking up there. I've brought a few of them out and put them on a bench here, and I'll point at them with a nail. How about that? So this guy here, he's probably going to be fine. And there's a gentleman over here with a walking stick. Doesn't look too bad. You can obviously see the flashing. This poor woman, is it Madame Blueberry? Could be. Looks like she's in a plastic bag and has been wrapped up in cling film. This one here, her hand looks like it's been crushed in a door. But 3-foot rule, you'll get away with it. Wouldn't want them up close and personal. The other thing with them is that they have several of the same pose and even the same color. Can you see there's one there with a, let me see if I can see that. Let's see if I can pull out the two. There's one. I've got him by his head. You see that? This guy. And there's another one of those. And there's one, there's the other. I wonder if there's more. There's typically 2, 3, 4, or 5. There's certainly a number of them in the same pose. That looks like the mayor, doesn't he? He's got a gold chain around his neck. Oh, there's 2 of them. You see that side by side? Is that the mayor? Yeah, Tweedledum and Tweedledee. There's probably a 3rd one somewhere. So they're not great, but having said that, you can usually find a few that are good. I wonder what it does actually say on these guys' jerseys. There's a marking on there. Is that an I for Mr. Incredible? Or if you get the set, does it spell something out? I don't know. Perhaps they're a couple and they like to dress alike. I don't know. Another one of those. Well, that's the second one of those. You see that? So I love sorting through these and finding what you haven't and have got. Yeah, that one doesn't look too bad. What we got there? He's got a hat on. He's got a green shirt on. That's the only thing. That might make a driver. I think this one, it's supposed to be a tie. Anyway, you can see that they're certainly far from the best you can ever find. But having said that, usable. Now, where can you usable them? If you put these in railway carriages, the nice thing about them is that they are HO, and so you actually can get two to a seat. So that's what I do with them. And I'll show you what the train is that we're going to put them in. You didn't. I did. Oh, you didn't. Oh, yes, I did. Now, as you're well aware, there are another couple of these sets on the layout. From an electrical point of view, let's talk about that real quick. 3 couplings there. I hope there's more than that. We need all 3 otherwise. From experience, 2 of them have the electrical contacts. Let's see. And 1 does not. Oh, wait, there are 4 in there. Yeah, we've got a spare at least. So 1. Doesn't that look like there's 3? There is 4. There are 4. And we've got 2 with electrical. So the way these sets work is that they are essentially 2 trains of 2 cars stuck together in the middle. When you add a chip to them, that you program them to have the same chip number, and one goes forward, one goes back. I've had 0 problems with these. A few comments about them. They look lovely. I'm putting a light on. They've got, look at the strap hanging inside there. Don't know if you can see that. They've got even tube maps on the ceiling. I've not had a grey one before. This is interesting. See the London Transport etching there that's been stuck over with underground. Yeah, kind of interesting. It looks a bit silvery to me, but it's fine. It's got a bright light on it. The one thing I don't like about these is the nuclear bomb that they've hidden in the middle. Well, hardly hidden. Look at that great big thing sitting in there. It doesn't matter what angle you look at it. That's the blanking plate. Now, why on earth couldn't they have put that under the floor or something? But it really is hideous. So what we do is we get in there and we put some people in there. The floor's a little bit high on these. Now, where's this one going? It looks like a northern line or a central line. Do you know, I know where it's going. I've just seen it. But very few markings on the box. But it says on the back, does it? Let's have a look. It says early 1990s, 1962 stock, 4-car motorized unit, central line. There we go. Central line set. West Ruislip is on the central line. It's one end of it. So that would be accurate. We're going to pretend this is a Northern Line train. I don't care. I grew up riding the Northern Line. It's a rather lovely unit. I have to put a chip in it. That's what those 2 chips in the drawer were for. These, instead of cranking them open with credit cards and all that good stuff, I just stick my nails under them. And then we're going to put some of these plastic people on the seats. What else would I wish were different about these? I wish that the lights on the front were working. They don't. It wouldn't be difficult. It really wouldn't. And if you don't want to use little tiny LEDs there, you could put them inside somewhere and use some of this stuff. You don't know what this stuff is. Let me cut a piece off and I'll show you. Well, there you go. This is a piece of fiber optic plastic. This particular stuff is used to make Starry Night ceilings, so it's really cheap. But you can buy a meter of scrap fiber optic cable. Here's what it's good for. You can melt one end of it and squish it down, and then if you have an LED somewhere else, so I'm going to use the lamp that's looking at us. Now, I'm not sure if you can see that. What I've done is just shoved that on a soldering iron and it's just squished out a bit. Now, if I take the other end, the pointy end, and point it at a lamp, Do you see how that lights up? Let me try and point it at the camera. So what I'm trying to do here, in the left of the picture is my thumb holding this other end of that fiber optic. Top right of the picture is the bit I've pushed down with a soldering iron. I'm just going to point this end at a light. Now it could be an LED sitting somewhere, and this is only about, oh, I don't know, 10, maybe 20 centimeters long, or 6 or 8 inches, something like that. And when you point a light at it, look what happens. You see that? So it transfers the light down the fiber optic, makes kind of a nice headlight. Now they could use that in the trains. So what I've done is I've pointed the blunted end. It could be just the point of it, but the blunted end at one light there, and then it's run up around into the tunnel up here. And look at that. You see? Quite a nice bright light on the end. Certainly bright enough for headlights on an underground train. So one LED would easily power several white lights. Do you see the dimple on the end and the size of the white lights on the front? If you drilled those out and stuck this on the back, it would look the same. And if you lit it up, do you see what I mean? So the light here is actually bigger than the ones there, but it would stick on the back of that. Now there's an underground Eric, my hero. He's the one that does a great job of this. He's even more of a bull in a china shop than I am. It's funny I said that. I just knocked something off the end of the bench over there. Don't worry, it's just a clip. But these are still great models. I am not doing that. I'm just thinking of ways you could. But why EFE or Bachmann can't do something like that? It's a little bit annoying. Down here then, do you see the little red lights down there? That's the other end. This is about the right size for that. So a little red LED. So this stuff I think is probably a solution to those lights. I could see how even the amber door open indicators would be able to be done that way. I don't have the dexterity to do it, I don't believe. You've seen some of my bodgy work, but certainly ideas. And we've all got ideas, but I've got some people to put in this one and a chip to put in. Now then, one of the things I like to do before I ever chip a new loco, other than make sure you can see it, is to just put it on a piece of track and make sure it works on DC. So let's do that. I can hear it going, and even the lights inside have come on. And there it goes the other way. Let's turn this light off so you can see that. There we go. Rather splendid. So yes, it works. The reason I do that is that if you take this all apart, shove a chip in it, pop it back together, and then it doesn't work, you're never really sure, was it me or was it it? So always give it a test before you start delving in. So the way we get into these is I jam my nail between the carriage body and, you see, I'm able to do that. Carriage body and the chassis. Just run my finger along, and that side is already out. I can do that again on the other side, and just off we go. I don't like using screwdrivers or anything metallic, because this is going to scratch up really easily. You can use the proverbial cocktail stick. Those stir sticks work well, as do hotel room keys. So that's what I'm a hotel room key guy, being an airline guy. So I've got a couple of those here, and we'll just, oops. shut. Now, if I'd have done that with a screwdriver, there would have been trouble. Just drop the credit card or hotel room key in there, and that's that one side. Now you can see it bowing out here. I'm just going to turn it around. I haven't used a cradle. And just do it the other side as well. Drop another one in. So no tools other than a card. Be careful sliding these along in these, because any clips or whatever it is, you can damage them, even though it's just plastic on plastic. But you're not going to scratch things up this way. There we go. So one end here pops out, the cards come out. There we go. And off it comes. Two nicely separated. I am just going to tip this up the other way just to show you the inside. Let me put a bit of light down in there. Lovely central line tube map down there. I would hazard a guess you could probably read the stations. They've even got the little advertisements in there. That's, to me, that's just tremendous. Posters on the ends and all that good thing. I'm going to put the body over to one side, and then we're going to look. Do you see what I mean, though? So the seats are a little high because the floor is a little high. It's a representation. This little compartment here, there is a screw there. If you undo that and lift that up, you can put a sugar cube speaker under there. I'm a little reluctant to pay the money for sound chips. I'm sure it would work. Oh, that's the other thing, while I remember. Do you see these posts here? There's two posts there. Those make contact with these contacts here, and that's how the electricity gets from the chassis to the top strip there for the LED lighting. I'll point the lights out there, the tips. See that tiny little yellow dot? That's the LED, and these are resistors, and everything, of course, is absolutely minute. I'd love a circuit diagram of this. It would be fairly straightforward. You've got a little device there, 3 or 4-legged device. No idea what it is. It's not a transistor. I would guess that it's either that's a capacitor. So it might be a rectifier of some sort. Probably is. Yeah, but rather lovely. Now the way these particular chips work, you see around the outside, do you see all the pads? You can solder onto those to get your different lighting or functions, or if you've got a sound chip, that's where the speakers would need to be attached. I'm assuming if you had a Stay Alive that didn't plug into the chip, that's where that would go to. Now I'm rocking the, there we go, rock it sideways. There we go. So that's the blanking plate. Amazing. We've gone from 2 wires from rails to motor to all of those. Incredible, isn't it? You need 2 chips. Again, that's a little frustrating. There would be a way of just using one for 2 motors, I would think. I mean, they've got to be clever enough to do that these days, haven't they? There it is. And this goes on top there. Now you've got to be really careful with these pins. Can you see the pins? 2 nice long lines. You see the tooth missing in the middle there. You see that? Certain angles it's easier. That's correct. And you have to just have a very good look and make sure you're lining it up beautifully. And that is it. And I look all the way around, make sure. And then again, just wiggle one side and the other and make sure it's actually in the right place. There it is, it's in. Now, I could just pop that onto the track just to make sure, but I've done a few of these now and they're fine. So if we pop this up on the track, it will show up as number 3. If we get both of the power cars chipped and then put them on the track at the same time, they're wired so that one goes forward, one goes back. So the board it plugs into is quite well able to figure that out. I actually wouldn't mind having a sticky label the same color as the floor or something. I actually think the chip, although it's bigger, it covers up some of the junk underneath. It looks better than the blanking plate. Now then, the point of this video was to have a look at how do we put people in. And you see, his feet are just too big. He's going to get his feet cut off, but he doesn't know that yet, poor fella. So there's one guy sitting in there. Well, as the good people at Blue Peter used to say, here's one I prepared earlier. This is the 1938 stock. And if we look through the windows, we can see that there are a few passengers in there. Now, the ridiculous quality of the people, you can't see that at that distance. All you can do is see that there are people in there. Do you see that? As I've often said, it's certainly not rush hour. But there's a few people in there, sitting there minding their own business. There is a driver in each end. You can see him in there in the dark. But at anything approaching line speeds, you're going to see there's people in there. A nuclear bomb of a chip. But there's people sitting in there. Several in that carriage. A couple there. Cars. Several in that car. It's underground, they're cars. And there they are. So now the next thing I'm going to have to do is go through that box of people, open up all of the different cars, find a driver. Now where's the driver's cab on this one? It's in there. That's interesting. I don't remember it being that way. So I'm going to have to bust that out. It's probably just clipped in there. And pop a driver in there. And put some passengers in. So that is a rather tedious job. I don't want to show the amputation process, but we'll make the passengers fit. Now I'm going to use black tack for the first time. Well, this is frustrating. You know, you know what I'm going to say. I found the packaging it was in, but it took me 10 minutes to find the other half, which was in a different drawer. That's what happens when you're having a clear up. But in the process of finding the putty, I also found this. This is a box of reed switches, which I wanted to show you when we were doing the video on reed switches. These are the tiny, tiny neodymium magnets that come with them. And these are the reed switches. Now, why did I want to show you these? Let me get one out and I'll show you. There it is. It's not quite the right color, and it's not quite the right length, and it's not quite right anything. But you see how you could just cut a sleeper out and pop the reed switch in. You'd have to be careful the wires didn't touch the underside of the rails. But that's, yeah. So reed switches, that's the kind I was talking about. And I did put a link in the description. I'll try and find that link and put it in this description. You'll never find it. If you were looking for reed switches, you wouldn't be going through and thinking about 1990s and 1960s underground stock. And then Ian says something about reed switches. Very confusing. I'm very sorry. But since I found them whilst looking for magic putty, I thought I'd tell you about them. Now I have learned something about underground trains. Do you see the pickups there? The shoe, they call that, for the third rail, the fourth rail being between the rails. Well, this car doesn't have that because it's a trailer, not a motor car. So I can't remember which way round they go. I don't think it matters, especially since this doesn't say A or D on the end of it. I was right. From memory, it said A on that end with a 40. So Northern Line, High Barnet via Charing Cross. Now we're going to look at the other end. Well, I'm half right. It says Northern Line, High Barnet, Charing Cross. So the whole train is going to the same place. I don't know if they actually do that or did that, but you see the D up there. So this unit, this old, says A and D. Now then, let's look at the side. So the D end has pickup, pickup, and then the next car has pickup, pickup. And then the next car, the one next to the A, has none. And then the A has pickup, pickup. Now, if I've got that right, it's by accident. I'm sure somebody will tell me in the comments. I can see something through the corner of my eye. Hold on. Let me turn you around. The third and final underground train I have is hiding under there. I am curious. So the A end, again, has pickup, pickup, and it is next to the trailer car, and the pickups are on the car next to the D end. So right or wrong, at least I'm consistent. I don't know. I'm sure somebody in the comments will tell me. I will do a little bit of research. That research didn't take me long. EFE Rail, it says, connecting the cars, the London Underground 1962 stock must be connected in the order and the correct way round. Please take care. The A is supposed to, but we don't know. It says on the bottom, that's the A. So the powered trailer car, this one, what do they call that? All the true underground train people are cringing and throwing things at their screens. It is the driving car A, so the A car, the trailer car, then the non-driving motor car. So that will be the one, that's this one. That's the non-driving car with motors, so therefore with pickups. So this one with the pickups goes next to the D. Either I read those instructions, which I seriously doubt, or I just got extremely lucky. I think the latter. Well, a rather lovely set. Looks lovely, does the job. They drive beautifully. I have 3 of them. You've seen one moving tonight. They could do with a stay alive for the lighting, but actually the flicker in that sort of kind of works. From a electronic, my background point of view, there's a couple of things I don't like about them. Having the motor cars each end of the train, I mean prototypical, but doing that with a chip at each end means that it's very difficult to use isolation, block detection, that good stuff, because the whole train has to be in the section, or you're going to get different signals between the sections of track. I'm not making it very clear. I'm tired. But there's no electrical connection whatsoever between cars 1 and 2 and cars 3 and 4. So 1 and 2 operate as one train, 3 and 4 operate as a completely separate train, which is fine. You do that when you're double heading, but when it's running as a single train and you want to bring it in and one part of it goes over a dead spot. What's actually happening when two cars are lit and the other two are not is that one part of the train is stalling and the other part is trying to drive it on until it finds a good connection. Not the best. If they had a connection between the cars that powered the whole train, the pickup situation would be such that you would never get that problem. It would also resolve my apprehension about detection of the train. There are some real issues with that, with DCC. Nothing major. These are just tiny little, I wish it were, I wish they could, that kind of thing. I'm not going to finish this project tonight. It's late. I'm going to put the people in, put some black tack on their bottoms, cut their feet off and shove them in, and we will get that running next time. Neither is this a full review of these underground units. I really do like them. I think years ago, had we had these, I would have had them, broken them, bought new ones by now. Lovely. And it's the more of this stuff they bring out, the more likely I am to bite the bullet and build an underground station layout. So not just having an underground station on this layout, but building a whole separate one. Well, I'm not sure what happened there. I touched the board and the original sardine special took off on me. I don't know how or why, but it did, and it stopped right there. That's kind of interesting. But all of the fourth rail section of track I have is right there. That's it. We've got, we had all kinds of trouble with that. I'm sure you can find the link to the video. I noticed that not all of you are getting the cards that I put up there. I will put fourth rail up there, but most of you are watching this on TVs, I'm told, so you won't have that. But the how I've done that versus this, these are the Pico insulators. That's a blob of white paint, and if I hadn't told you that, you might not have known. Well, something bad has happened there. That shouldn't be doing what it was doing. Never have I had to lift one of those off the track, but it was doing weird things. We've got a couple of things going on actually on the layout. So just a very quick what's going to happen. This is a bay platform that only can just about take two carriages. We are going to extend that platform down to here, which will allow three, but two easily. The two easily is what I'm looking for. The two platforms there, this one in particular, the longest of them, is going to be underground, an underground shuttle. This will be wired fourth rail, so will that. This is the programming track, of course, and I don't know what the premise is for that, other than the underground has taken over a perfectly good branch line. There it is, and it'll dive off into the tunnel. I brought the train here out onto the main so that you could see the people inside and have a look at it. But mostly the underground stock then will be running back and forth on its own branch. Intentionally not on the track because that car is not DCC ready yet, but you can see the difference between the two. The more square front and the more rounded on the older stock. But yeah, I remember both well. This one more, I think. We used to call those the red trains, simply because the silver ones were being introduced elsewhere. So as kids in the 60s, yeah, I really am that old, we rode those. These, of course, are much later, but I'm sure we can put up with them being concurrent. So yes, another new train. It came in the same box as the other one. I ordered two at once. Look at that. So yes, my pocket money is gone for the foreseeable future. From a pricing point of view, they're steep. I've waited for the price to come down a goodly amount, but they're still expensive. Again, though, special treat. I have them. I hope you enjoy seeing them run over the next weeks and months, and hopefully years. I've got to chip this one, isn't it? No, it isn't that one. Where's it gone? This one. I've got to chip that. I've got to get some people in this and the roof back on, and then join them together. If I could change one thing, it would be this kind of connector. I really don't like them. There has to be a better way of doing this. These work. To be fair, I haven't had much trouble with these particular ones. So why am I so opposed? Because it would be remarkably easy to break the place these plug into, which is that part there. I'm not going to show you tonight, but when you push these in, those connections really bend. And there have been horror stories, of course. I don't know what else to do, and I'm sure the manufacturers could turn around and say, well, you come up with something then. Yeah, but I'm not paid to do that. That's not my job. I should be able to go and just buy them, and they work, and we don't have those really legitimate concerns about connections. Yeah, there has to be another way. So then, 30-second summary. Floors are high, I think unnecessarily high. I don't like the chip being so blatantly massive in the middle of the train. I think probably even shoving it down at floor level, I think even I could get it down a few millimeters. Perhaps a sticker that goes over the top, even that would be less egregious. Really don't like the connections. Paint job's a little speckly. I don't remember them being speckly. I wonder about that paint over London transport thing. Don't mind it. Sort of thing that would have happened. Yes, I'm not sure about that. It's not awful, but yeah. High critique. I'm being very critical tonight. It wouldn't take much to put some lights in there now, would it? That's at this price, we can all do it. I think, I don't want to butcher it, but I think we could find a way of doing that. But other than that, that's just a hand's length away. They already look good. I'm about to fill them up with junk people. It's not a very nice thing to say about people. And they will look just wonderful. So I don't really have those high fidelity issues. The pickup shoes, that's interesting. Do you see the lack of pickup shoes there? Oh no, they do have them. They're at the front there, right there. Just tilt it and see. Yes, you can see it. But would you look at that? They are different. I'll bet there's a prototypical difference that they have noticed and I haven't. Do you see what I mean? So somebody's done their homework. These are gorgeous. They look the part. Until now, I haven't had this one running at full tilt, of course, but they look the part running. here we are saying, you know, I don't like this, don't like that. And here we are prepared to put cheap junk people in them and run them in 4-car sets, which they never did. A brief comment about sound. Let's look at the layout for that. Where are they going to make most of the noise? Well, when they're sitting at the station. When they pull out, you would hear that as they take off. But by the time they're about there, you want the noise to go away as they go into the tunnel. So, yeah. What about these things? These are, I think these were $8 each. I've got 2 of them. One of them, if I were to press that, this is the street organ recorded on there. You could record a number of tracks and sequence them so that every time you push the button, a new sound came out. I intend to use these for station announcements eventually. They're plenty loud enough. They don't hold a great deal, but I think it holds about 4 minutes. So plenty of short clips of sound. And if you had one of these under the board, I would think that that would be at least a part compromise rather than spending inordinate amounts of money to put sound chips in half a dozen trains. You could probably do it with a couple of these. Now, you've still got to get the sound files from somewhere. Look, you can go and ride a train. If you look at watching the trains go by, there's plenty of sounds of underground trains. Okay, so it's not the right stock, but that noise as it comes out of the tunnel, the whoosh, those sounds and the mind the gap, those kind of sounds don't need to be on the train. And look at the size of the speaker. That speaker wouldn't fit inside most trains, and certainly not the underground trains. So even though this is cheap junk, the fidelity of that is significantly better than the sugar cube speaker that we put up with. Thanks very much for watching. I know you thought I was going to be cutting legs off and putting putty on people's bums and running a new train. Well, we did about 4 inches, and you've seen the other one. You really don't need to see all of that. I know you do, but I'm going to bed, and so you can see it another day. Thanks for watching. Next time we're going to be getting on with the station again, I believe. We have plenty to do. Thanks for watching. See you next time.